Hey YouTube, so we're back. Since the last video, we've gotten a lot of work done on the 2005 SE Banshee. Got a lot of parts back there that we're going to be looking at really quick that I got powder coated and everything since the last video. Try not to just give up too much information, but we have the 95 sitting back there as well. We're going to be getting a lot of content done here shortly. But if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that the next time I upload a video, you'll be notified and you can follow this build along with us. All right, so here we are. We're going to go over our pile of parts here. We have two different machines that we're working on. We have the 95 back there that I'm going to be keeping. The purple and yellow is a combination that I really like. And we also have the 05 SE right here that we're going to be working on. Also, we have right there, an 03 red and black that we're going to be doing. But let's go ahead and go over these parts that we have down here, let you all know what I've done to everything, what we're looking at. And then we're going to talk about getting this all. Then in this video, we're going to be getting all this stuff put on the machine and hopefully have a roller by the end of it. All right, starting from one side to the next, we've powder coated everything. So the heel guards that I understand from online that I've seen, they are black. Foot pegs, the radiator mounts and plastic stays, black. Over there, we have the brake lever. All the OEM hoses are cleaned up best as they can. I'm going to put new clamps on them. These are some reproduction front shocks. You can't get those remade, and I haven't found any that I wanted to work with in good condition. The rear spindles, the front spindles look good. Hubs look good. The front hubs, all that stuff has been powder coated and cleaned up. We are going with the polished aluminum on these parts, but we're going to be going with so that's polished aluminum as well, but over here is the alien silver. Everything looks really good, and we're going to go with the exact same color combo and keep it all stock. So these are the front arms, Cerakoted ends, bushings and everything have been replaced. We have our stock axle here, all blasted and powdered. Have our hardware that we're going to be reusing, our axle bolt, shifter. We have our wishbone and, well, the wishbone and the whole linkage. The rear hub with a new sprocket on it. And we have all the hardware. We're going to be just reusing the stock hardware, but I did vapor blast it. So they're nice and silver. They don't have that greenish look to them anymore, but they'll look real good on there. OEM CDI coils, Cerakoted. Well, I decided to just use my vapor hone, and I vapor blasted and vapor honed all this stuff. This is just some dirt on it, which is no big deal. We'll clean all that off. But they definitely made a transformation to what they looked like. And I'll show a picture here for before and after. Master cylinder, same, looks really good and cleaned up. The cap as well. Everything is going to be replaced that needs to be replaced, and we're going to have this back to be in the 05 SE. Just like I said, look how clean the vapor blaster made all that look. It's dusty right now, but overall, it's dusty now, but overall, look at that. That looks great. New covers to be going on here. We're going to see if we can wet sand and polish and get that little bit of melted plastic off of that. Got a OEM rear brake and bracket. But yeah, we got pretty much everything here for the most part except for the stock exhaust, which I did purchase from a guy online. And it's at my parents' house. He was local to my parents, and I had them go pick it up. So let's get this thing done. Oh yeah, so I do know you all are gonna be like, what about the motor? You did something to the motor. Motor, stock rebuild. We did everything we can to keep it as stock as possible. However, some of the hardware I couldn't find or it was rusted, and I just decided to use an aftermarket bolt kit on it. Over here we have the cases, vapor blasted. Looking crazy good. We got the OEM cover on the side. We have powder coated the cylinders and the head to make it look real good. These are the stock. Gotta get some of that silicone up off there. These are the stock intake boots and everything over there. We have the stock clutch cover with new inserts. I do have the kicker needs to get powder coated. But see, as I stated, like, see how that this is the stock hardware, but after the vapor He just took that green off. So everything is going to be nice and silver. All the hardware is going to be nice and silver on it. Just like all this stuff here. Some of it still does have some rust on the threads, which is fine because we're going to be using anti-seize on it. But the heads is all that we're going to be seeing, and they are nice and clean. I like that. I am going to get all the hardware fitted in here shortly. But this is how we stand and how we sit right now. Just looking absolutely freaking wonderful. Nothing really holding us back from getting this thing starting and getting this thing assembled. So that's what we're going to be doing here in a little bit. I do have a little bit of a mess and junk everywhere. But for the most part, we've toned it down. And the more stuff that I get from over there onto here, the more room is going to clear up. I'm back here in my corner, as you would imagine. 2 sets of plastics. They're the factory ones that came off of this machine, plus a new set. The factory ones that came off of this machine, up there is the 95 plastics. But fronts, rears, and the original ones that came off of this machine are going to go on to the 05, the 03. And we're going to put brand new ones on this one. So this is going to be a freaking brand new-ish looking machine. The only thing that we're not going to have brand new is the tires, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with those. Well, not the tires, it's going to be the rims. I think I'm going to blast them and powder coat them because I'm not really sure. Like these ones are fine, but they're kind of rough around the edges. I don't really know how clean I can get that to look and what I need to do to get that to look good. I don't really know what to do with that. I mean, they'll clean up nicely. I know they'll clean up nicely. But, you know, maybe something I would explore about getting these wheels polished. I mean, I can polish them, but like I said, I'm not really sure about those nicks. What can you do about that? Somebody let me know in the comment section. So I've done enough introduction, done enough explaining. This thing has changed a lot since we first got it. As you saw what it looks like, it did have the 421 in it, and we're taking it back down to a stock motor. The 421 is going to be going over there into my 95. Unfortunately, Fortunately, it worked out for me. I really did not have any plans of doing any modifications to that one, really. But when you ran across the motor like that, I decided to go ahead and do it. So, you know, why not? So we're going to take the stock motor build that I was doing over there with the vapor blasted cases and everything and put it in here, which I've already done. A few more things that I have to get done that I will get off camera. I'm going to get the carbs and everything vapor blasted. I'm going to just see if my Taurus system works because I want to put all that back on here and keep it as stock as possible with nothing really deleted. But if those don't work, I am just going to not run them. Keep all the plugs and everything that are there. Well, let's get this thing put together. A little dusty. All right, so we've been working on getting the 05 into a roller, and we're working and getting some things done. I'm ready to get this thing down, but we got a lot more work to go, but I want to show you all where I've done. Everything has went together as smooth as butter. Haven't had any problems, but I did do the vapor blasting on all the hardware. So all the hardware besides the motor is going to be OEM. But see how everything, as the zinc coating is still there, but the green is off, and that's fine. For the most part, I think I have enough bolts that I probably could put all the other stuff back in, but I wanted them to look nice and clean, and before I knew I could do that, this is just what started happening when I built the motor. So I don't want to take all the hardware out and risk anything being like an issue with leak down right now since we all have it together. So that's where we're standing. Let's take a closer look. All right, hopefully I don't have too much junk here, but I was getting the wiring harness installed, and it's a bit dirty, and I'm kind of like, maybe I should wait. But as we had the motor and everything in there. We're going to come up to here. We have the tie rod and ends in there of all the hardware. We have the front suspension arms on and down. We have the spindles powder coated black. We're going to be getting the shield on there here in a little bit, along with the calipers and the hub and all that out to here, and the hardware. The OEM bumper on, powder coated as well. Working on the other headlight. Gotta get the other headlight on, put the new housing on this one. Gonna run our cables here in a little bit. Steering stem installed, everything good, no play, everything is gloss. I'm trying not to rub it too much just because I know some of this stuff is like fine media and I don't want to have it all scratched up prior. But look at that vapor blaster, man. It makes things look great. If I can get it to focus again. That looks crazy. Probably gonna have to make a trip out to Parkersburg here soon enough because before you know it, I'm gonna have this thing on the ground ready to start. And I don't have my exhaust. I got to get the exhaust. I would say I'm waiting on just the rear shock steel from Joe Gaga. So that's going to be the only thing that's holding us up. But who knows? I might just smack that one on there just for now, just to have something on the machine and swap that out later on. Who knows? We'll see how that works. But, you know, I kind of get impatient. I do still need to powder coat the wheels, the silver. They are polished, but right now they are like a tan from that spray paint, and I don't really know how to do the whole process of stripping it and polishing and doing all that, but we might figure that out later. Let's go ahead and get the rest of everything we have installed. Our parts, see I'm taking all my nuts and bolts that I have here, crazy, right? In that, and then I'm blasting them and seeing if they rust, I won't use them, but if they don't rust, I'll use them. But this is about all we have left. Tail light, one of the other covers, swing arm, shifter, and just a couple miscellaneous bolts. All that stuff right there will be installed here in a little bit. We also have my axle and everything all powdered and put together there. So we are moving along. Yeah, not a whole bunch left to go on there. And then soon enough, we'll be getting that one put together. But like I said, we're still waiting on the shocks and the arms for that one. But here we are. Piece by piece, we're going to get it installed. Yeah, so one of the things I decided to go back and do was take off the foot peg and the shifter to show that the flywheel is OEM. Doesn't look bad at all. Had a little bit of rust there that I knocked off, but I put a aftermarket chain guard on there, a case saver on there, just to have something on, because God forbid somebody comes to my house and rides it and then kaboom. And then they, chain jumps off or something. So I just went ahead and show that I replaced that, or I've got something different on there, and I'm going to put the cover back on here in a second. So time has gone on a little bit. We have the machine sitting here, 2005 SE. I mean, it looks great. We have a few holdups. As you see, we're missing the exhaust. We're going to get really up close and personal with this thing here in a second, but we're waiting on the exhaust. I got to go pick that up from my parents. That's like 4 hours away, and I am trying to plan a little meetup so I don't have to drive that far. But, if I do, it's no big deal. And finally, shipping right now is kind of sucky with things. I did finally get the update that the shocks from Joe Gaga are completed, and he shipped them last week. However, we didn't get them this week. Expectation date is Wednesday of next week, so in about another 4 or 5 days. You all will not be updated with that. Y'all just know once we get it out here. But let's get up close and personal, take a look at what we got going. Does it look good? Does this freaking look good? So we have the front OEM bumper back on. We have all of the powder coated black, the shocks, OEM headlights with new covers. We have the OEM grille. It's been cleaned. All the fins have been straightened out better. And we've Cerakoted it black. We decided to go with the alien silver. The hardware over here is all just vapor blasted, but we did vapor blast the master cylinders. We did vapor blast the calipers, so we're looking good there. Got everything run up to the top. Got our master cylinder the same. Brakes are great there. Been checking it out. Had a little leak in one of them. It was a little bit of dirt. Had a little leak down here in one of them. There was some dirt in the seal. Got that cleaned out and looking good. We got our Tours systems all taken apart and cleaned up. So with those being all cleaned up and everything is going to work fully functional. We're just waiting on the throttle, the new throttle cables that I ordered, so we can get the throttle hooked up. But the clutch is all hooked up. The levers are all hooked up. And like I said, I'm just waiting on this over here so we can have this area closed up. Looks good going out through there. Have the OEM radiator hoses The one that I was going to use had the screen on it. If I can find it, I'm going to put that one back on there. But I wanted it to be as OEM as possible looking. We did have that like wire mesh on there. Powder coated everything. We got the kicker powder coated, no rattle, and maybe have a little. I have to put a new O-ring on it. I'm not 100% sure if I put a new O-ring on that. Got our rear brake setup and all that stuff on there. We have our spring. I got to find my spring tool because I don't want to clamp on that and pull it. But basically, we're just waiting on this rear end. That's like the last thing. We're going to be getting that installed here shortly, but you all won't know what's going on. Y'all will just be seeing it all once we get it done soon. Oh, man. It has been a while since I put any footage up of the 2005 SE Banshee. We're going to do that right now and see where we're going. All right, so a lot has happened in a short amount of time. I don't know really if I can say a short amount of time, but a lot has happened. So we got the rear end on this Banshee put on. As you see, it's sitting right here looking wonderful. I absolutely love how it looks. So we have the 05 SE, as you all know. We've already got the plastics and everything done. So this video was going to be getting into a roller. We do not have much left to put on there. I know I have to work with like the rear brakes and the calipers and all that stuff. I need to get all that stuff done. But for the most part right now, this thing is looking wonderful. I don't even know what to say but to flip the camera over and just let you all see it, and it's going to speak for itself. Now look at this thing. My Lord. I mean, last video I said look at it and just look at it, but here we are freaking look at it. Coming from the top down, I mean, all this stuff looks freaking shiny. I mean, it's a little dusty because where I'm at, but you know, wipe a little bit of that off. That comes wonderful, clean. Everything is absolutely beautiful. Coming across here, new. Got that all cleaned up and looking good over there. I mean, everything is looking good. We got everything vapor blasted. We got the grill Cerakoted. Headlights, new grills and polished. We got powder coating. We got the arms on there. Everything's looking good. Got the new shocks on. I was going to push that down with my foot, but I don't want to run a risk of scratching it up. So we are going to, get that a push down. I mean, we are good. Motor looks freaking new in there. The only thing I regret is that I lost some of the hardware, so I had to use a bolt kit. But that looks great in there still as it is. We got our carburetors looking nice and clean. Got a little bit of the hoses a little jumbled, but this was just getting it into a roller. We got our brake and everything on there. I have to get the brake adjusted and all that, so it's going to be looking right and feel right. Swing arm on. We have it powder coated with the... This color is the Alien Silver. I really freaking like it. I didn't think there was that much of a difference, but the amount of glitter or the amount of metallic that's in there is crazy compared to the polished aluminum. I mean, don't get me wrong, the polished aluminum looks good, but that's crazy. I mean, it's not super clean right now. Got handprints and all that stuff all over it. We'll have it looking good. I still have to get the master seal, the caliper on the back and the brake lines and all that stuff run back through here. This is the park brake line. We got the shock rebuilt by Joe Gaga, so that looks really good. Powder coated in there. No time on it. Got our foot pegs or heel guards on there. These wheels we're not going to use for this build. I think they're going to be going on to the 03, but I have new ones coming in the mail. I did not want this thing to suffer, so I have some DRW polish coming in. It's going to be looking great. And we're going to be running the original tires that was supposed to be on this bad boy. And this is the 05, so this is the machine that these are the tires that came on it, how it looked when we got it. Crazy how it looks right now. Man, this thing is going to be great when it's all done. We're taking this back to stock. So the Taurus is going to be on there if I can make sure it all works. We have the electronics for the throttle. I mean, all that stuff is going to be on here. We have the OEM rear brake. I mean, this thing is crazy. But, that's about it. What's going to hold us up in a couple weeks, this is about the week before Thanksgiving. So in a few weeks, around that point, I am going to take the trip down to my parents' house, and we're going to get this stock exhaust. I'm 80% done with the process of getting the titles So we're good there. And then once we get that done, this thing is going to get cleaned. It's going to make sure the tuning is good. We're going to put the plastics on. We're going to cover this thing up like that, pretty much, and it's going to go in storage, and we're not even going to touch it. I mean, it might stay up here, but this thing isn't even going to get touched. It's not even going to really get uncovered because I don't want there to be any scratches or anything on it. I mean, jeez. I don't even know what to say, but every time I do one, I want to keep it. Every time I do one, they just look better and better and better every freaking time. We are going to run the rear fender supports on here just because I don't want to sag. That is not going to be OEM. Obviously, they don't come OEM. The rear fender supports are right here. The front supports are there. We have our intake boots cleaned up, and we did vapor blast the clamps. I have to decide how clean these are going to get, or I'm going to have to buy a new air box. I mean, this one looks really, really good, so I'm going to run it. It's just the lid is kind of scratched up, and that's what you're going to see more. I can get the lid really clean, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm going to need the snorkel and all that comes out of it, and the stock air box, the stock air filter. This air filter is going to go into that box. That box is going to go into that machine. But we're getting rolling. But I don't even know what else to freaking say. This thing looks crazy sweet. I mean, I've never bought a new machine off the showroom floor, but I'm building them, right? So I've never owned one. And also with this one, I would say it's going to have 90% of the factory hardware that's in it. So all the hardware that you see on this machine, besides the motor, this is all stock stuff. This is all stock that's been vapor blasted. Stock. Everything is stock that's been vapor blasted, except for when you get to the motor. I did use the bolt kit on it because I didn't want to really mix and match. I should have just bought bolts, but I didn't do that. And like I said, we will be having a title with it. It's going to be for sale for not free by any means. And it's like everything else. If you get it sold, that's great. If you don't get it sold, I'll be having a fourth or fifth Banshee. I have my 421 yellow. I have my 421 orange and blue. I also will be having my 421 Kobe. I have the 05 SE. And I will be having the 04, that's the black and red one, and I've already got parts over here powder coated and underneath these towels. This is just to be able to keep stuff clean. I mean, as you will see, there's a ton of dust in here for me powder coating this stuff. I mean, like, well, shoot, go ahead and wipe it off, right? See that? You get everything cleaned up, you lay it all on the mats, and you come out here in 2 days, everything needs to be cleaned off again. But hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be able to get the brake system put on there and the brakes bled for the rear of this, get the chain put on, get the chain slide put on. But we're going to go ahead and close this one up because my plan was to get it into a roller, which we have achieved, and I'm very happy about that. If you enjoy this kind of content, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay tuned for the future builds that we got going on. I'm not sure if I'm going to be getting the 95 uploaded sooner or if I'm going to be getting this one uploaded sooner. But either or, we're going to still be having the 03 that we're going to be doing in the future. It's not going to be super stock, but it's going to be super clean. So we're going to keep it stock width, stock travel, and all that stuff. Maybe open air box lid. We're going to put some pipes on it, some T6s, wheels, tires, that kind of stuff. Just make sure it looks nice and fresh. If it's going to be coming out of my shop, it's going to be looking good. So if you enjoy that kind of content, hit that like button and subscribe. Check out the 421 that I did here, my first 05. Check out the 93 that we did over there.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy.